Susan LoPresti Wellness Mind, Body, and Soul podcast. This is the go-to space for midlife and mature women who are ready to reclaim their health, boost their energy, and live long, vibrant, and purposeful lives. Each week, we dive deep into natural wellness, holistic healing, anti-aging strategies, and healthy lifestyle habits to help you feel your best physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Whether you're navigating menopause, working through chronic conditions, or simply wanting to age gracefully and intentionally, this show is your sanctuary for science-backed insights, powerful stories, and soul-nourishing inspiration. So if you're a woman over 40 or 50 or older, looking to thrive in the next chapter of your life, you're in the right place. Today's guest is Tiffany Tomkins. Tiffany is a seasoned CEO and entrepreneur with over 20 years in the natural products industry. Despite her background, she found herself overwhelmed by perimenopausal symptoms in her late 30s, from severe sleep disruption to mood swings and hormonal chaos. She was told by doctors that everything was normal, but nothing felt normal to her. Instead of settling for band-aid solutions, Tiffany took a root cause approach and co-founded Opal Joy, a wellness brand that's built specifically to support women through perimenopause and menopause with plant-based, science-backed tools. The brand was born out of necessity, grounded in compassion, and designed to help women reclaim their energy and their vitality naturally. Tiffany brings to the table a deep personal experience with invisible symptoms like insomnia, anxiety, and many, many more. Holistic insights into how nutrition, sleep, adaptogens, and stress management all interconnect. A unique entrepreneurial lens on building ethical, women-centered wellness solutions. She's passionate about helping women not just manage this stage of life, but truly thrive in it. Her mission aligns beautifully with what my podcast is all about: real healing, honest conversations, and empowering midlife women with tools that last. So without further ado, Tiffany, I am so excited to have you here today. Thank you for joining me, and let's jump into this powerful conversation.
Well, thank you so much for having me here. It's fantastic.
You're welcome. I'm so excited to have this conversation with you. I know that you had over 20 years of experience in the natural product industry, yet when perimenopause hit, you still found yourself really blindsided. So can you share with my audience what those early symptoms were like for you?
Yeah, absolutely. This is such an important topic, especially for all women to understand what's going on at this stage of life. So thank you for having me on and thanks for letting me share my story.
You're welcome.
I was around 38 years old and I started having some pretty severe symptoms with perimenopause. And at the time, I didn't realize exactly what it was, but my anxiety levels were through the roof. I was having a really hard time sleeping, and that's when anxiety and all the, the nighttime wake up at 3 a.m. and your typical brain racing and you're trying to get back to sleep and having a hard time. I also found myself quite falling into a depression because of that lack of sleep and because of all this anxiety and this fear. And I didn't really put the two together that it could be perimenopause until I was diagnosed with premature ovarian failure, which was meaning I wasn't able to have any more children. So I have one daughter, which I'm very thankful for. But it wasn't until a doctor said, actually, you're not able to have any more children. And so I knew something was up hormonally, but then they never told me I was actually in perimenopause.
Wow. And how old were you?
I was 38.
Wow, that's early for perimenopause.
It is, and it can happen kind of within your, 30s, but the symptoms kept coming, so it's after that, I was losing a lot of hair. I was growing hair in other places, like facial hair. I'm like, what the
Yeah.
heck was going on? I started having really bad joint pain. I was finding myself getting the old fashioned hot flash and, the night sweats. And again, not really knowing what was happening to my body. And my doctors never told me that I was having these hormonal issues that was putting me into perimenopause early. My ovaries were pretty much, on their way out of operation. And so I was sort of left to Dr. Google to try to figure out what was going on with me. And it took me years. It wasn't until I was 42, 43 did I actually get to an endocrinologist, who are the hormone experts that told me, hey, well, this is what's going on with your body and you are in perimenopause. It took me that long to find a doctor that would actually refer me to a specialist, because most doctors that I was working with, that I was going to for help, had no idea what perimenopause or menopause really is.
Isn't that incredible? I mean, us as women, every woman goes through perimenopause and menopause, and doctors don't know what it is. That
It
is
is crazy.
shocking to hear. I
It
mean,
is.
I can't even wrap my head around that.
I know it makes you want to go out and be an advocate for women's health, every day, and hit the streets, because it is incredible. Menopause is often an elective in medical school, and the field is changing quickly now because women have had enough, and it's really a generational shift. Generations before us didn't really talk about menopause as
Yes,
much,
hush, hush.
and now I think that fear or that shame is gone. We're really starting to embrace this chapter of our lives, and thank goodness.
Yeah. So when these symptoms start, right, for a woman and they're disrupting their lives, in your experience, what are some of the most overlooked symptoms, like the invisible symptoms that women should really be aware of early on? Because we don't, it's not talked about. So
Yeah.
what do you think that is?
I think anxiety is a big one.
Oh,
Anxiety and depression, I think at this stage, they're really invisible symptoms. Anxiety and depression, although it's quite something that many people go through in their lives, but especially for women this age. I'll tell you a bit of a horror story, which is why I'm so firmly a believer in really understanding our bodies and thinking about our hormones. But a friend of mine was really found herself just completely lost from herself. She fell into a severe depression. And living in New Zealand, we have a different healthcare system, but the system here tried all kinds of medication to try to help her. She went to a mental institution where she went through lots of different types of therapy, went through shock therapy,
yeah.
right, in this day and age, shock
Wow.
therapy to help her figure out what this depression is and why she couldn't get out of this psychological hole that they said she was in. She went through all of it, and at the end, finally someone said, let's check her hormones. They put her on HRT and she was totally fine.
And it was
So
as
this
simple as that.
the disruption and the change in our hormones has a huge effect on our bodies and our mind. And the overlooking of the symptoms of anxiety and depression at this stage of our lives, make sure that you understand that what's going on with your body, and that there could be many causes for this. And that's one thing that I find many women are thinking about, but they're not getting their hormones checked, or they're not going to a doctor that really understands hormones so that they can see if that's probably or maybe one of the causes.
But why do you think that there's such a lack of awareness and conversation around perimenopause? What do you think is the issue? Why it's not talked about regularly?
Yeah, I think women's health in the medical community is a bit far behind. Medicine practice really focused on men when it came to looking at the results of the effects of new prescription drugs, new types of medicine. It was very male focused, so it's a very patriarchal system.
Yeah.
And as women, I think we were taught, and I say this with respect to my mother and my foremothers so much, but it was, you hide when you get your period. You don't really talk about it, especially
Yes.
with other men around. There's almost like a level of shame. Menopause is associated with aging, and nobody wants an aged woman in this societal rhetoric. And I think it was a little bit about the shame of us as women aging and going through a natural process, and nobody talked about it, which is really, really unfortunate because it is such an amazing time and chapter in our lives.
Yes. There's a lot of things both physically that are going on and also emotionally
Yes,
at that
yes.
point. So there's like this interconnectedness of sleep, nutrition, stress, hormones. Can you walk us through how these areas influence each other, and also not only each other as women, but let's say your partner or your family or your
Oh,
children
yeah. Oh, yes.
that have to try to understand what's going on with you. You
Yes.
can't sleep.
So
Yeah.
I am now postmenopausal. I'm 49 years old. I have a 12-year-old daughter and a wonderful partner. He's really great, and he is navigating the hormones that my daughter's going through as a
Oh,
preteen, and me going through menopause. Even after you go through menopause, I still have the same symptoms and the same things going on as I did before, but there are upsides to this. And so when you can't sleep, your cortisol levels are really high. It's a lot of stress. Women at our ages between, I would say, 45 and 55, 60, we're at the top game career wise.
mhm.
Usually we have a lot of stress in terms of our career. We have family, young children going through hormonal changes as well. We have aging parents, and we got to save for our future. So there's just a lot going on in our lives already that's pretty stressful. And so when your cortisol levels are high, it really affects how you're sleeping. If you don't get sleep, exacerbates all of your menopausal symptoms. If you don't get enough exercise, it exacerbates all of your menopausal symptoms. And I think as women, we tend to put ourselves last sometimes. Like, we put our family, we put our community, we put so many things ahead of our own needs.
Yeah.
And when we do that, we really start running ourselves down into a spiral. And if we don't take the time to stop and really take care of our thing ourselves, many of these symptoms get exacerbated, and we start losing sort of the grip on the perimenopause and the menopausal symptoms.
Yeah.
And the impact of that can be quite severe. During menopause or perimenopause, I would get really angry. Those hormones, I'd flip on a switch and get, start like, why are you doing it this way? Or, to my poor husband, why are you're so loud, or just anything that would irritate me. And then I'm, fighting with my preteen who's testing her boundaries with me, and the house is going off, and we live on a lifestyle block, so we have sheep and dogs and things like this, and chickens, and it's like a lot of responsibility. It's really fun, but when it all goes wrong, it all goes wrong, and it's a circus.
Even the
And
chickens are going.
even the chickens, like, it's like, oh, what is happening? And we're stressed. We have a lot on our plate, and so we stop and take. I really missed the taking the deep breaths, trying to calm myself down, trying to look and be thankful and have the gratitude for everything that's around us. And it's hard to be grounded in those moments when your body is reacting physically to everything that's changing, or in that circumstance as well. So we have to be really kind to ourselves. We have to cut ourselves a break and know that this is a normal process in life. But I can't underestimate the need for women to really find other women or other people to talk to. The poor men that are sometimes by our side during this, some just don't get it. Often they try, but it's really important to have that community just for mental health and to be able to share experiences, because it can be a really, really impactful time. It can be quite tough. It's the leading time of divorce in our lives. It's also the highest suicide rate for women,
Oh, is
is,
that right?
is during this time as well. So yeah, you got to start taking care of yourself, and it's a big mind shift. And I would say it's really important to have that community and those other women around you too, because we're a tribe and we need to lean on each other.
Yeah. So, what inspired you to create Opal and Joy, and how is it different from other wellness brands on the market today?
Yes, this is a great story. So let's talk about those women. My best friend Melissa, she came to my rescue. I was having trouble sleeping. So I have lots of things that I take and go to for meditation or journaling or things that I do to help me. But through it all, I was still having a horrible time sleeping. Nothing was working. And I have a pretty high profile, stressful job. And Melissa just came to my aid and said, we have to tackle this. Enough is enough. Let's figure out a solution for you. So, as best friends do, she went off and said, okay, let's try these things. And so she gave me CBD, which was the first time I'd really taken it, which is crazy because I'm from the natural products industry. I know about CBD, I know about ashwagandha and all these great medicinal herbs and Ayurvedic herbs. And I didn't put the two together. This was the time in my life that I really need to look after and take some
Yeah.
things. So she gave me CBD and it worked immediately. I was sleeping better just within the first couple of days. And I thought, holy cow, this is a really great product. I woke up not sleepy. It's not like a sleeping pill, it's a clean product. And so I thought, okay, this is really good. And then she combined these mushrooms. Mushrooms are really great for mental clarity because brain fog is a major issue during
Yes.
perimenopause as well. And your brain is rewiring. There's a lot of things that you need to do to support. So, Opal and Joy really started out as an experiment for me to help me sleep and to help me get through my day. And we ended up finding a formulator in Colorado who really is on the side of the medical community and what we call herbal medicines, and really knew the impact of CBD and other plants. We worked with her for 4 years to formulate a product that was highly efficacious, with myself as the guinea pig at first. And then we had other women try it as well. And the results have been really great. It not only helps you relax and get into sleep, it helps you sleep when you wake up at that 3 a.m. alarm bell that goes off,
Oh,
for a
yes.
lot of us. And it helps you get back to sleep easily instead of staying awake for hours. And I wake up feeling really clear. And that's the impact of the mushrooms that we have in our product. And that's the story behind it. And I really, really love it. I come from the organic natural products sector. So everything is clean ingredients as you can get. And we created packaging that's as clean as you can get as well. So it's a very exciting venture.
Let's talk about the adaptogens.
Yeah.
How are they supporting women's hormonal health, and which ones have you personally found to be the most effective?
Yeah, so CBD is from the hemp plant.
Mhm.
That is a wonderful product that has helped me, particularly with sleep. And at times when I'm really suffering from anxiety or my cortisol levels are really high, it helps me catch my cool. It helps me just be able to relax and feel like I have a sense of normalcy. It's a fantastic product that really helps your endocannabinoid system. so that it reduces pain and inflammation, which is a huge part of perimenopause. Easing anxiety and kind of calming your mind is really important.
Can you take that during the day and be able to function and go through your day, or is this a supplement that you're taking in the evening?
The supplement that we created is taking it in the evening to get ready for bed. So you would take it right after dinner.
Okay.
And I take it 7 o'clock. I take it after dinner, and it metabolizes in your body. And by the time I'm ready to go to bed, I've just got that natural, like, it's like taking a deep breath.
Yeah.
And it's really good for that calming. The other product that's in our sleep support system is called Relax. And this product you can take during the day or at night, but it's really about creating that emotional and hormonal stability so that and helping you wake up refreshed and clear-headed.
Yeah.
And this is the adaptogen and Ayurvedic herbs. So this is your ashwagandha, reishi, the passion flower, and we use a product called Relora, which has a lot of magnolia in it. And it helps reduce that cortisol and those stress levels, and it helps you promote that sort of deeper rest. So while rest helps you get into sleep and stay asleep, that deeper rest and that nice relaxation is coming from these Ayurvedic herbs, which really are incredible. They're nature's gift to us.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's been we've had a great experience, and we've had quite a bit of wonderful feedback to help women just help relax. And that's why we named it what we did, because it's such a beautiful product.
Yeah. What challenges have you faced in building an ethical, women-centered wellness in the wellness industry? Have you met with any challenges, any skeptics, or?
Oh, yeah. Not so much skeptics, because we're targeting women who are really looking for that sleep support. They're looking for a way, tools in their toolbox, right? And building things, not everything works for the same for everybody, but the majority of women that have tried our products, even more than the majority, almost all of them, have really found our products useful. So we went through a lot of testing, which is fantastic. But we're a business startup. There's always challenges with starting a business. Starting a new brand that sells supplements for women during perimenopause is challenging in itself. It takes a bit of capital to be able to get out into the marketplace. We're direct to consumer at the moment, but we hope to get into practitioners and start working with some retail. But those expansions cost a lot of money, and we need to be really smart on how we grow.
Yeah.
But in the supplement industry, particularly, it's not regulated like our food industry is. And you need to be really careful where you buy supplements. And I think consumers and women have switched on to the fact that really you need to make sure that your supplements are coming from well-sourced places. There's a lot of things that you can buy on Amazon and other places. I know women that have had lead poisoning from supplements that were purchased in the United States, but they all came from China, and there was no third-party testing or no specialty ingredients or clean manufacturing processes that this product went through. So that in itself is something you've got to build trust with the consumer, and fair enough, you've got to really show that you have good manufacturing processes and that your ingredients are clean, because you don't want to fill them up with a bunch of junk, because that is exactly, again, goes against what we're trying to do with hormonal balance.
Yes.
And supporting your body.
Where do you see your company going in 5 to 10 years from now?
Ah,
Yeah.
oh, I'm so excited. I want to help women so much. So we want to get our products. We have actually quite a few products that we've already formulated. We can't wait to bring these out to help women with various issues. We'd like to be, have nationwide distribution and be working with women all over the United States. We're building an online community that's the Perimenopause is our slogan. And that's really to take back the power that we have as women to be really focused on how we can get through these stages of life and be proud of being here and going through menopause, perimenopause, to be able to age, to take care of ourselves, to talk about it, to be in a community that supports us, but to really get rid of the shame and create a new narrative and
Yeah.
stand up for ourselves at this moment in time through our health and taking care of our bodies and doing it together and having fun.
So, how can listeners that are on here begin to advocate for themselves when they feel dismissed by the medical system?
Yeah, really great question. It's really about making sure that you understand what your symptoms are, talking to a doctor, and if they aren't listening to you and they're dismissing you, you can dismiss them. You have the right to find a doctor that works for you and that will listen. Talk to other women and find out who their doctors are, or who if they're the medical doctor, or if they're an Ayurvedic doctor or someone that's so what is helping them.
Mhm.
It's really that word of mouth to find people and tools and ways to help with your symptoms. We don't need to suffer as women. We have tools in our toolbox. We need to go out there and make sure that they're available for our communities, and we need to ask for them. We need to ask our retailers, why are there no menopause supplements in our retail stores? Why can't I find a doctor that's really going to support me? We need to keep asking and not just putting up with being dismissed. That's the biggest thing to advocate for yourself.
So, you're in New Zealand, right?
I am, yes.
Are you able to find functional medicine doctors where you are?
Yes.
Oh,
It's
okay.
very common.
Okay.
It's more common, I would say, here in New Zealand than it is in the United States.
Well, my comment was going to be in the United States, we have functional medicine doctors, but
Yes.
they're not covered by medical insurance. So unless you have the means to hand over 800 to $1,000 a visit to see a functional medicine doctor, so many women are not able to do that. So they don't
Yeah.
get the care. And, for me personally, when I was going through menopause, I was fortunate enough to have a good job and I was able to afford that. And I feel like saved my life, during that
Wow.
time
You've
because
got to tell me your story.
that's how terrible I felt. I had everything wrong with me,
Yes.
and I didn't know. I had unbelievable migraine headaches. I had
Yeah.
anxiety. I couldn't sleep at night, hot flashes, night sweats. I gained a ton of weight. I had frozen shoulder. I couldn't lift my arms.
Yep.
I could only go
Oh,
this far. My knees, my ankles, all my joints were inflamed. And conventional doctors were telling me that it was normal for a woman of my age to feel like this at
yes.
43. I was
Isn't
like,
that insane?
I don't think so because my mom is 25 years older than me and she doesn't feel and look like I do. So there's
Yeah.
something drastically wrong.
Yes.
And then I went to a functional medicine doctor, and within 6 months, all of my symptoms were gone.
That is incredible. That is so good to hear. I mean, it is hard because functional medicine is so important. And in New Zealand, because it's a national healthcare system,
Hmm.
the the onus is really on the individual to take care of themselves. So preventative medicine is a really big thing. You
Oh,
can walk into health product stores, you can walk into pharmacies, and they have highly skilled people to talk to you about what your symptoms are and what's available in their store, what could potentially help you. And there's also the functional medicine doctors that have sort of a higher level of products that aren't available in those stores as well. But the two of them really, they all work together, and people don't go to the doctor until it's really, really necessary.
hmm.
And they rely on another tier of medicine to help them. And it's also really hard to get into doctors because of the healthcare system too. There's long waiting lists for surgeries and things because there's a
Wow.
shortage of doctors. But I really like that culture around taking care of yourself, making sure that you have options before you go in to see a medical doctor. I mean, of course, anytime that you need to go to a doctor, you need to go to a doctor.
Mhm.
But if you have some symptoms that you're thinking, what's going on with me? There are individuals there to help guide you through another pathway, which is quite great because it's about, taking care of yourself and making sure that you have a functional medicine and that you're working with your body to help alleviate things. And the problem with New Zealand is that we don't have access to CBD and things like that, which is really unfortunate because the United States is helping to improve access to that CBD and CBN and other things that help our bodies through plant medicine. And it's an incredible product. And I cannot say enough about CBD and how much it's helped me, especially with the inflammation and the
Yeah.
joint pain. CBD has helped me just so much. It's been incredible. But I love that you were able to meet with a functional medicine doctor and help with your symptoms. What were some of the things that you did that you took to help with your ailments?
Well, one of the biggest things was I found out that I had celiac disease, which
Oh,
I did not know, and no one of the other doctors ever said, okay, so you have gut issues. You need to watch your diet. Okay,
oh
be a little
wow.
bit more specific than watch my diet. What does that mean,
Yeah.
watch my diet? So I had celiac disease. I have Hashimoto's disease, an
Wow.
underactive thyroid. Nobody checked on that.
Wow.
And then I was put on bioidentical hormones,
Hmm.
a whole bunch of supplements. Magnesium was one of the first ones that she put me on, vitamin D,
Yeah.
B12, so many things. Completely changed my diet, was totally clean, no processed foods at all, no caffeine, no sugar. And in the beginning, it was very, very hard. And she said to me, let's be super strict for
Yeah.
6 months. Follow the protocol. As you begin to feel better, if you want to try and introduce something back into your diet, so they call it an elimination diet,
Yes.
right? So when you introduce it back into your diet, if you get a reaction, you know that you have to stay away from that, and so on and so forth. But it completely changed my life. And
Incredible.
so to today, now I'm 65. This was when I was 42. I've never felt better. And I just
That's so
follow,
amazing.
yes, because it was life changing. I really thought I was dying. I would wake
You're
up in the morning and I would reach for the in the cupboard to get a glass and it would fall out of my hands because I had no feeling in my hands in the morning.
Oh my gosh, you
It
poor
was just,
thing.
yeah, it was really crazy. But a lot of it was hormonal because I was going through perimenopause at that point, and I was under
Yeah.
a lot of stress because I was getting divorced. So there
Yep.
was that. It was just a whole accumulation of a lot of things.
Yeah.
And I was being told, oh, it's normal. You'll feel better in no time.
Yeah. Yeah. And your inflammation, I mean, I just can't imagine going and having celiac and Hashimoto's to not be able to be told that until later in life. And then yeah, I mean the inflammation in your body. But isn't it miraculous how our bodies can turn around? You give them the right
Yes.
tools.
Yes.
Clean eating elimination diets they really work.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic way to learn about your body and how it functions and what works and what doesn't. And yeah, well, what a wonderful story. And I'm so glad that you found a functional medicine doctor that listens. People that can really understand the female body is a gift. And if we need to hold on to those doctors and make sure that we help other women find them as well.
You know what was interesting also when she called me back to talk to me about my blood results, she said, I have great news for you. And I said, oh, what's that? And she said, you have celiac disease. And I was like, so what's so great about that? And she said, if you listen to me and follow my protocol, you
Mm.
are going to be back to normal in 6 months. That's the
Oh,
great news, she said. And
that
I,
is great news.
okay. And, so, and I'm still with her.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
That is so amazing. What a
So,
great story.
Tiffany, leave us with some final thoughts. A woman who's just getting into perimenopause and there's all these symptoms going on. What do you say?
It's a normal process in our life. You're not alone. All women go through this, but it's time to take care of you and make sure that you're getting the sleep and the movement that you need to take care of your body and to help manage stress. And there are tools in the toolbox, then there are options, and don't take no for an answer. Don't be sidelined. It's so important that you take a stance on your own health, and it's really time for you.
Do you have any recommendations about a change of diet in any way?
But there's lots of talk about the need for protein during this
Yeah.
time because we lose a lot of muscle mass during perimenopause. That's why movement's really important. A lot of women lift weights, which is just fantastic. Anything that's going to help build muscle and keep muscle, and high protein diets seem to be all the rage. I'm not a medical professional, but I do eat my fair share of protein because if I get really hungry and ravenous, I can clean out every junk food that's around me because your body is craving and it's off balance, right? So when your body is craving some of the bad things, that it's out of balance and out of whack. So, but eating clean, pesticides are hormone disruptors. They're very bad for your body. Eating clean food and eating whole foods is really important. Our bodies are our temples.
Yeah.
We have to take care of ourselves. And if we want to age well, we have to eat well. We are what we eat. And it's
Yeah.
actually true. So, again, taking care of yourself includes the foods you eat, the activities that you do, being clear in your mind, body, and soul. Those are things that we have to take care of. And we have to take the time to do that.
Yes. So in New Zealand, quick question, do
Yeah.
you have a lot of processed foods like we do here in the
Oh,
US?
yes.
Oh, you do.
Yes.
Okay.
Food is very, very expensive in New Zealand. A cucumber cost me about $5 New Zealand, which is, I would say, $3 in the United States
Wow.
for just a conventional cucumber. So we as New Zealanders spend a huge amount of money on food.
Wow.
It's extremely expensive. Going out to eat is not as common as the United States because it's very expensive. It's a cultural thing. And so we raise our own sheep. We also have a garden during the summer. We try to have as many vegetables, and it's fun and it's a hobby of ours. We buy meat from other producers locally. It's because it's so expensive. I bought some chicken the other day. It was 3 chicken breasts. It was $25.
Wow.
Yeah, it was. So people have gardens and they try to eat healthy, but because the food and whole foods are really expensive, there are a lot of cheap manufactured, just
Yeah.
really crappy foods as well. And they're cheaper. It's cheaper to eat at McDonald's than it is a
Yes.
lot of times to eat.
Which is so unfortunate, right?
It's so unfortunate. We also have a 15% sales tax on everything that is sold in the country. It's called GST. And it's already included in the price of things. So when you buy a head of broccoli, that includes the 15% sales tax.
What does a head of broccoli cost you?
It depends on the season. So actually,
Oh,
we eat extremely seasonally. I don't have tomatoes unless it's the summertime.
okay.
I eat apples in apple seasons, berries when the berries come out. Otherwise, it's imported, and imported foods, it's extremely expensive. But it had the cheapest, I would pay probably $1.50 for a head of broccoli. Is the cheapest I've ever paid for it. It can go up to $3.
So the bottom line is, even though whole foods are more expensive, you're still maintaining that as the majority of your diet and you just eat it seasonally.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
We eat very, very seasonally.
yeah,
Um,
that's great advice.
it's good. I mean, this is a country that is an agricultural country.
Yeah,
They export almost all of the food that they produce, and we have the eighth largest dairy company in the world. It's very agrarian based, so there's a lot of people that know how to grow good food, which is really great too. There's roadside stands all over the country. So if
uh,
somebody has a lot of apples, they can just put the apples in their roadside stand, and there's a cash box that's just that you put the money in, you pick up the apples. There's things
yeah.
like that all over the place, which is so cool.
Very nice, very nice. Tiffany, thank you. I love what you're doing for women. I think it's fabulous.
Thank you, Susan.
I'm so grateful that you were able to come on and speak to my audience about perimenopause and menopause so they know that they're not alone on this journey.
Well,
And
thank you.
yes, and so where can women in the States find your products?
Yeah, if you go online, it's opalandjoy.com. So OPAL dot and joy.com is our website, and you can find products there. And yeah, and we ship all over the country, and our products manufactured where our hemp comes from, which is in Colorado.
Very nice. Very nice. Thank you so much, Tiffany, for coming
Thank you,
on.
Susan.
You're
Have a
welcome.
wonderful day.
You as well. Thank you all for joining today. I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as I did. If you're interested in trying the products, go to the show notes and I will have the website there. And also, there's a 20% discount code if you use Susan20. So, if you could think of anyone else who would benefit from listening to this episode, I would truly love it if you could share it out with them as well. Please leave me a comment. If you're not currently subscribed to my channel, please be sure to follow me. And until the next time, I wish you the best of everything. Good luck, stay happy, and bye for now. Thank you for listening, everyone.